Yo, I'm Bob, totally blind since birth, into Power Rangers, got the Shout Factory box set in my hands. Talking about Season 2, Episode 11, or Episode 71 overall. This one's The Song of Guitardo, and it premiered on September 26th in 1994. So when it comes to watching this in my own personal viewing order, I'm trying something a little different this time. I'm watching this right before Green Dream and putting Green Dream as the penultimate episode before the big Green No More two-parter. We'll see how it goes. So in this episode, the kids are going to attend a picnic at the park. Kimberly's writing a song to help Tommy out because his powers are getting weaker and weaker as Lord Zed sends monster after monster down. And Zach's helping her out. Lord Zed on the moon, of course, he's going to use something beautiful and create something terrible. So he's planning on creating his Guitardo monster and Goldar. He says something like, well, a guitar's made of wood. You can't make a monster with that. It's not alive. Poor Goldar. A little do you know, in future episodes, Lord Zed, he'll turn whatever the heck he wants to into a monster. Trumpets, cameras, things like that. I wonder if Lord Zed's powers get a bit of an increase as we go on here. I mean, this guy probably does a bit of magic practice when we're not seeing him on camera. I like to think his energies grow even stronger over time. This guy doesn't seem very idle when we see him. He's always plotting. He's always planning. I like to think he's always practicing too. But yeah, Goldar makes that little statement about Zed not being able to create a monster from a non-living object. So Zed lets him know, well, a cicada is an insect, and insects are around wood. So yeah, he's going to make a big giant cicada monster, and this monster is able to sing and play music, and this music is going to hypnotize the Rangers. So I guess Zed, he's playing with the idea of enslaving them, maybe making his own Dark Rangers. So this is another instance in which he's trying to convert the Rangers to evil. So that's going on the moon. Bulk and Skull are there in the park as the Rangers are having their little picnic, and I think Bulk is dressed up like a monster. Skull's dressed as some sort of, I guess, medieval princess, because he's doing this piercing, high-pitched voice that always sounded like Pinky from Pinky and the Brain to me when I was a kid, doing this interesting Cockney accent too. And my brother and I, it used to be one of our favorite Bulk and Skull bits, and one of their attempts to lure the Power Rangers out. This one was really wacky. And the Rangers were letting them know, if you guys keep doing this, if you keep crying wolf, eventually a real monster is going to show up and nobody's going to want to help you. And so they're not really paying attention to them. They keep running around and Skull's screaming. And Bulk's helmet is stuck and he's trying to get it to come off. And Skull's just not really wanting to go, but he does acquiesce, and he says something like, all right, I'm coming. And that was one of my favorite lines as a kid. My brother and I used to crack up for some reason when we were like 10 and 11 years old. I used to just ask him, hey, dude, you want to go outside and ride bikes? And he used to come back with, all right, I'm coming. And it was just some weird little thing that would crack me up, and he'd hit me with it whenever I wasn't expecting it. I don't know why that line cracked the both of us up so much. Anyway, Lord Zed creates the Guitardo monster, and it's pecking on Bulk and Skull. I think it knocks Bulk down or bowls him over, because it's a little cicada on Bulk's shoulder, if I remember my brother's description correctly. And then it turns into the monster. Bulk falls over because now the monster's huge, it's human-sized. And they both run off screaming for real. So, the Rangers have to teleport to the command center. Zordon lets them know that this is going to be a tough monster. It's able to hypnotize people through song and its guitar. It's also turned Kimberly's nice acoustic guitar into what I'm guessing is this really heavy metal punk rocker looking electric guitar. It sure sounds like an electric guitar when he plays it. So they have to run a bioscan on Tommy because Zordon's not too keen on letting him go into the fight. He says if Tommy's powers fade, it's going to be dangerous not only to Tommy but the rest of the team as well. And we find out from Alpha that he's even weaker than he was, so Tommy has to stay behind. He's not too keen on it, but that's what happens. And so you have 5 Rangers versus Guitardo. He plays his little melody on his guitar. 4 of them are hypnotized. Kimberly's on the ropes, and Tommy decides to morph into action anyway. And they do wind up driving him off. But he lets Tommy know, yo, I'm going to be at the fairgrounds, so yeah, be there or be square. He's making little rhymes and ditties as he escapes. So the Rangers are still kind of in the air. Yeah, whenever he hypnotizes them, I think he can raise them, he can levitate them, so they're kind of trapped. They're doing this floaty thing. I almost forgot. I wish Hasbro would make that. Guitardo would be awesome in the Lightning Collection. I used to own the Guitardo monster in the 8-inch Evil Space Aliens Bandai line. He was big enough to where I used to have him go up against my Thunder Megazord. He never grew in the actual episode, but they made him big enough to tackle a Megazord if you wanted him to. Yeah, I mean, he could fire energy beams from his eyes. That would be some interesting little effect pieces there. You could give him the sinister-looking guitar. I think you could actually give him a couple of blast effect pieces to go on the guitar, because I think that thing could fire notes off of it as well in order to hypnotize the Power Rangers. So he'd be an interesting monster. And I loved his big, giant cicada pincers he fought with. So let's see here. What else happens? I like Tommy by himself there in the fairground as he's taken on the monster. Kimberly finds out the only way to stop the Guitardo monster to break his spell is to destroy him, so she joins Tommy. And Tommy finds out the only way you're able to counteract his spell is with music. He's just about ready to brainwash Tommy, but the Dragon Dagger goes off or something. And I guess Tommy accidentally hit a button or whatever, and he's fine. The spell is broken. Kimberly's there. They have a little bit of a fight with him, and then Tommy finally realizes, hey, let's just use the Dragon Dagger with the Power Bow, which is one of my favorite finishing moves. I just love that the dagger was shot from the Power Bow, and thus Guitardo is destroyed. The Rangers are back to normal, and Zed is upset. He's not able to have his own Dark Rangers, as it were. So the episode ends with Kimberly and Zach surprising Tommy with that song. I like how the episode ends too. We see a downpour outside, so to me it kind of symbolizes darker days to come. But they're singing a song to Tommy, and he likes it, and he feels a little better, even though he does think it's going to be a bit hard to say goodbye. And they let him know through the song that change is always tough, but you'll always have your friends and your memories beside you. So that's kind of how the episode ends. And when I was a kid, they used to air this right before Green No More. I remember watching this and quite a few other episodes and several reruns, and it was the penultimate episode before Green No More. I'm just trying this little experiment this time by watching the Green Dream right before the big two-parter in which we say goodbye to Tommy as Green Ranger. So next time we're going to be talking about the Green Dream. Be here for that, and may the power protect you.